the third film, my Sean Levy trilogy, will be a tad more stabby.
It's great. That's just great.
Oh, hey, are we live? Thanks for giving me the heads up that we were going live. Bozo.
Remember the time I said we're going live, so pay attention to that?
No. Hey, everybody. We are live on Monday, March the 14th, John. 2 years ago yesterday, my son got off the bus. Well, it was March 13th of 2020. He gets off the bus and he's like, it was a Thursday. He's like, hey, do we have 2 weeks of March break? And I said, yes, you do. Because there's a thing called a lockdown happening. And we all expected everybody's going to be back in school. We thought maybe 3 weeks. I don't know about you guys, but we went out and bought a bunch of puzzles. We enjoyed our 2 week family time. And then it went to 3 week and we're kind of like, oh, this is kind of getting a bit itchy around here. And 2 years later, we are at each other's throats. So it's hard to believe, John. It's been 2 years that we've been
Homer Simpson. Why you little?
Why are you little? Yeah. So, anyways, welcome everybody to the Heroes World Sidekick Show. My name is Rob Gadet. I am partnered here with my brother from 15 Different Mothers, Mr. John Ho. Hey, buddy.
I don't know if that. Yeah. What's up?
I see Lewis Gord and Fraser in the chat. Hello. Thanks for joining us. If you are listening to us on your Apple or Spotify podcast platform, do us a favor, hit us with a 5-star review or maybe a 4-star review if you don't really like us that much. But leave a review. That'd be
no less than that.
No less than 4, please. We'd appreciate that. If it's your first time here, welcome. Please make sure you hit the subscription icon on the YouTube channel, as well as notification bell for when new videos drop. John, the Heroes World podcast show with yourself, me and Stu dropped on the weekend, and we reviewed The Batman. So
your boy,
my boy.
Hype movie. Did you get in a second viewing, or are you starting to contemplate it now? Or are you like kind of like looking around, going, "Hey, what can I do to get back in on this?"
Yeah, you know what? So I was gonna go this past weekend. I was gonna go with a buddy of mine, and his wife is a doctor, and she's like, "No, you have to wait another week because my son had COVID." So we're gonna go this weekend. Mm-hmm. Weirdly enough, my son went today with 3 of his friends. The 3 that went together. They went and saw it. So he's seen it more times now than I have. But I'm supposed to be going this weekend. I know. I'm pissed. We're going this weekend to go see it for a second time. So have you had a chance to head out and see it again?
No, I'm trying to see if I can fit in that 3 hours. And I've talked to a lot of people at the shop, and they're like, they want to see it again. But yeah, the 3 hours is, first world problems, like a commitment you have to put in. So I contemplated, I think I've mentioned this many times. I'm like, what if I go to a theater, watch the first hour and a half, leave, and then buy a ticket for another show and show up like an hour and a half into the movie and sit down in my seat? But I feel like people in there are not going to like that.
Yeah, I think your logic is weird. You're essentially paying for 3 movies, but only seeing it twice.
Yeah. But the time is the issue.
Right.
Oh yeah, it is gonna add up, especially if you go and get popcorn and.
Well, John, maybe if you were able to invert yourself in time, you would have an opportunity to see it with only having to pay for it once. But we're going to get into the world of Tenet in a little bit. I have some news, and John's got a breakdown of what is in the store. So again, welcome everybody to the Here's World Sidekick Show. Hello, Sarah. Let's get into it, John.
Hello, Sarah.
Hello, Sarah. There we are.
If you had a bow tie, would it be like spinning around? I don't know if you'd make that noise. That seems kind of wacky. So what's up, folks? Thanks for joining us. Thanks for giving us your Monday night, and let's have some fun. New stuff coming in the shop. We've got new comic books coming out this week, posted on our Instagram and Facebook. Lots of new fun titles. World's Finest #1, which is the traditional Batman Superman book, comes out this week. So check that out. And I pulled a few things that we got into the store So to just show you guys. So we've got the brand new Fantastic Four Jonathan Hickman Omnibus Volume 1 coming in. I don't know if it's a reprint or a new printing or whatever. Some of these are reruns. And then Captain America Lives by Ed Brubaker. Both very good reads. The Fantastic Four is about $100 USD, and we are selling it for that in Canadian. The Captain America Lives is $75 USD, and we're selling for that for in Canadian. If my words, I think my words are all inverted.
Words are hard, John.
No, yeah, they're inverted.
For those joining us, John has already been drinking, so this could explain a lot.
It explains a hell of a lot. And then I'm going to show you a couple statues. So I finally opened this McFarlane black and white statue, the 2.0, which shout out to Jonathan Yo. He showed me a video that says there is no difference. So the 2.0, I guess, is just a new version. Who knows? That's according to the internet. So maybe there is a difference if we ever put them side by side. But we didn't get it the first time around, so we got this 2.0 version. It looks really nice. It's really slick. It's on display now at the shop. I do have it also available on the website. A little thing on my screen here. So come check that out if you like it. It's about 150 Canadian. Really nice piece. Make a great gift, or you know, tuck it away for later or whatever you want to do it. Next thing we got is we did get the Batman Alex Ross statue. So if you're into the DC Direct statues, I think this is just shy of being a 1/4 scale. It's a little bit smaller. I want to say it's, I don't know, 1/6 maybe. I don't know. I should have probably looked that up. But this is available right now in shop. We got them for about $200. Really nice piece, really traditional piece.
Yeah.
If you got anyone who's a fan of like an old school kind of looking Batman, that kind of looks, it does look a little bit more on like kind of the real side with the leather cape and just like kind of the simple muscle suit. I don't know. What do you think of this costume, Rob? Is it one of your favorites?
No, but I really like Alex Ross's artwork. And I think this is a pretty good representation of Alex. I mean, I like the fact that you can see the creases in the costume. Alex Ross is not known for building, like he makes it look like it's literally, you know, a costume put on, like a, I don't know, like a leotard type costume. So you can see the wrinkles and the creases in the arm and the chest. I think I quite like it. I like the statue quite a bit. I like the it's a hero pose, right? So
yeah, very nice. Traditional Batman pose. Yeah, like you said, Alex Ross kind of just seems to have nailed this design that looks like it's straight out of costume shops of, I don't know where you'd place this in, like the 60s or 50s or something like that. But they look really classic, very stylish. He actually has a whole series of Marvel covers called Marvel Timeless covers. So the new Punisher #1 that came out last week that I mentioned, he has a nice Alex Ross cover. So hopefully they'll do a big poster, you know, montage of all of those. And then the last thing I wanted to show you was the Crow Rooftop statue. Yeah. So this is a really nice piece. Really kind of clean. It's under the DC, not DC, the Diamond Select branding. Yeah. So this guy is only about $60. So it's a very nice. It is plastic, but the good thing about that is if it ever like kind of tips or falls off your shelf, chances are it's going to survive. Maybe not that little crow on his shoulder. But what would you prefer, Rob? I don't know if I showed you the statue before where he was in front of the window.
I have that. Wait,
guitar,
let me see if I.
Oh yeah.
Can you? Yeah. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Yeah, we can see it. We can see the lights back there.
Right there. There he is.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. I was going to go to
maybe
Rob's
if
there he goes. Look at that.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe if I change even the light with the blue.
Look at this guy. Whoa,
look at that.
Fancy.
Yeah, you can see him right there. He's got
fanciness.
The crow that's on his shoulder as well. I really like. Yeah, I really like. First of all, that statue is awesome. I really like this one as well. So if you haven't had an opportunity to get the one with the window, this one with the on the rooftop with the smoke is pretty cool.
Yeah. So some cool pieces at the shop. So if you're interested in any of those, hit me up. I think the Batman Todd McFarlane is on the website. I'll try and get the Alex Ross one up there on the ASAP. So if you guys like those, let me know, and I'll hopefully have some more fun stuff for you next week. But let's kick it to Rob for the news, because he said it was a big week this week.
Oh boy, John, I got tons of news to go over. So we're gonna just rev through a whole bunch of stuff, and then I'm going to stop on a couple just to get your opinions on it. But we're going to start off with some sad news, John. Yesterday, news broke about the passing of William Hurt, who MCU fans would know as General Thunderbolt Ross. But also, he was in a whack of movies, including The Big Chill, Kiss of the Spider-Woman, and Broadcast News. Nerds like Gord would remember him from Dark City, Lost in Space, AI, and A History of Violence. Hurt was 1 week shy of his 72nd birthday. So as we like to say here, rest in power, good sir. Your legacy on screen will not be forgotten. And actually, before we jump off of that, just got news that Scott Hall, known as Razor Ramon, has just passed away. If you're a wrestling fan, Razor Ramon, Chico himself, throwing the toothpick at you. That's right. Just passed away at 63. Now, William Hurt, John, starred in the Dune TV series. And I'm going to throw a Dune reference in because I just saw Scott jumped on. Last week, we got word that the sequel
it'll go backwards. It'll go by backwards for him, so he's good.
That's right. We just got word on the sequel to the Denis Villeneuve movie, which is supposed to start filming early this fall for a 2023 release. Austin Butler, who will be seen next in the upcoming Elvis movie, which admittedly, John, I actually think it was pretty cool. I might actually go see that movie.
I had no clue it was coming out. It was a trailer during Batman, right?
Yeah. It looks
and I'm like, what the hell? They're doing Elvis, and then I think Tom Hanks is in it.
Yeah.
Like,
Tom Hanks.
He
plays the Colonel. But Austin Butler is eyeing the role of the baddie Fade Routha. Now, I have no idea who that is. I do have the book on my shelf. I will get to it eventually. But also eyeing a role in the movie is the new Black Widow herself, Florence Pugh. We got some teaser trailers this week, John. We saw the teaser for Obi-Wan Kenobi series dropping on Disney Plus. We got Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which is like the Christopher Pike series. We saw Pike in his Enterprise in season 2 of Discovery. We got Sonic the Hedgehog #2. We just got a Halo trailer for the upcoming TV series that comes out in 2 weeks. And The Boys season 3. Now, The Boys season 3, John, has a release date of June 3rd. And today, star Carl Urban confirmed that season 4 is on the way. He said that he's going to be filming The Boys for pretty much the rest of the year. Also on the way, John, is The Umbrella Academy season 3, which will also drop in June the 22nd. We will see the return of the Netflix hit. And they had a small little teaser that the Sparrows are ready. So you can check that out.
Both drop in June, so they're going to go.
Yeah, June's a heavy month because generally The Boys drops like its first 3 episodes, and then it goes weekly after that.
They're going to do all 3, and then, or they're going to do one at a time just to space it out. And then Umbrella Academy is all in one shot usually, right? Yep.
Netflix will drop them all at once, so we shall see. Now, a few weeks back, John, we talked about the home video release of Spider-Man No Way Home. It's a small little movie you may have heard of. Now, it was supposed to drop on... Nope, never heard of it. It was supposed to drop on digital VOD next week, the 22nd. But supposedly, there's a super, super crisp copy floating out on the interwebs. So the movie... the movie is actually going to be dropping now tomorrow. It's going to be a week early for your streaming platform of choice. So if you're an iTunes fan, such as myself, maybe you've already pre-ordered it, like I have. So my copy has been pre-ordered. And yes, I will be getting the Blu-ray when it also releases in April, because that's just how stupid I am on these things.
That's how hardcore you are. It's fine.
Yeah, I am. I
good on them. They got to get that out ASAP. They got to get that out ASAP.
Fans of video game Dead Space, listen up. Remake of the popular game franchise has been announced by EA with a window of early 2023, whatever that means. I think Lewis and Frazier will probably agree when they say early 2023, that really means anytime before November of 2023. No word on what consoles the game will be available for, but I'm sure we're going to get some more information this summer, especially as E3 rolls into town. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Reacher, the ass-kicking show starring Alan Ritchson, has done something that no other Amazon show has done, John. It cracked the top of the Nielsen streaming rankings with 1.589 billion minutes watched in its first week. Now, we here at the Sidekick Show cannot wait for season 2. John, have you gone back to watch any of Reacher?
I've watched a couple episodes, and I'm kind of like perusing some of the previous other books that they kind of have slated. I think I want to get to, what was the one that Alan Richardson always mentions in interviews? Tripwire? Or no, it's not Tripwire. It's whatever the second book is. is the one that he keeps mentioning that they want to do.
You've covered it up with your picture, but but I don't remember now. But yeah,
Die Trying, maybe.
Die Trying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that all you're contributing? Is that all you got? Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's all I got. Yeah.
All right.
What do you want?
John, at this point, I've come to expect nothing good. All right, John, 2 news stories left. Thanks for everybody for hanging in here. I'm just like, as I'm flying through the news. It was a huge week. Sometimes I'm like, I have nothing. This week, unfortunately, I had tons. John, I have 2 news stories left, and man, I want to get your thoughts on it. We have a bad news, good news drops last week. First, I'm going to drop the bad. Warner Brothers, fresh off of their massive Heroes in 2022 trailer, they've been pushing since the Super Bowl, that they've been pushing with the Batman just 2 weeks ago, have decided that half of those heroes are no longer coming out in 2022. I'm going to break down the changes for you. The League of Super Pets with Keanu Reeves as Batman moves from May 20th to July 29th. July 29th was for Black Adam. That's been popped over to October the 21st. The Flash, the movie that was going to set up and essentially the multiverse of the DC universe, is moving now from November the 4th to June of 2023. Aquaman 2 is swimming away from his December 16th slot. Thank you. Only moving down about the reef about 3 months to March 17th. But the good news is, John, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, is moving from June 2023 all the way up to this coming December, dropping December the 16th of this year to battle for box office dominance, John, against Avatar 2. So we shall see how
so the one movie that we probably have never asked to see on the ASAP is the one that's moving forward in the timeline. It's moving forward. No, okay. How would this work in Tenet? So all the other movies are going regular, and they've inverted Shazam to pull the pincer move.
And it comes early. Yeah. Just like you at prom night, John. It'll come early. So
get out of town. Which one of these delays disappoints you the most, Rob? It has to be the Flash.
We're gonna get into it, John.
The Flash.
Yeah, the Flash. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I think that the Flash actually there's a lot that reverberates out of that movie. Including obviously we know Michael Keaton is reprising his role as Bruce Wayne / Batman. We also know that Michael Keaton is playing Bruce Wayne Batman in the upcoming Batgirl HBO Max movie. That was supposed to come out this December. Now, you can't really introduce his character as Batman in the Batgirl universe if you first don't introduce him in Flash. Like, you can't, it's not set up that way. He's supposed to be the Batman for a number of upcoming DC properties, but starting with what I'm going to call Flashpoint. That means now Batgirl will likely be delayed. Even though they haven't made any announcement, it makes no sense for DC to go ahead and push that and keep that Batgirl date of December. So this whole thing annoys me.
But Marvel did it though, right? They released a Scarlet Witch or something before or one of their TV shows came out before it was supposed to happen, right?
You're thinking of it was Hawkeye was supposed to come out before. No, Hawkeye was supposed to come out before after.
No, I don't know. Falcon and Winter Soldier. Falcon and Winter Soldier had the Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
At the very end. Yeah, you're right. Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Her cameo.
Had Elaine's cameo.
Yeah. Elaine, I don't know if we should just call her Elaine because she is so funny. Okay, yeah, sure, whatever. You never know.
I mean, listen, I will say, like, I was raging when this came out. I was like, this is bullshit. Like, listen.
He's like reading they what?
DC ought to have known, like, when they are putting out, they may spend tons of cash on creating this trailer and promotion and everything else. And, these are the heroes you need in 2022. And then it's like, you're not going to get them now. Like 2 weeks later, it just makes no sense to me why they would do that. I will say, though, that apparently a lot of this is COVID-related delays, to which when I first read, it was COVID delays. I was like, bullshit. Flash had been finished filming for the past number of months. But actually, as I read more of it, John, this is to do with the special effects. Flash has 2,500 special effects that need to be done, and there is a backlog on all these effects houses. There's like a bottleneck because of COVID, of the staff being down, being sick, and everything else like that. They don't have enough. There's not enough, I guess, digital studios to be able to run through a lot of these effects and render them and get them all done. So that apparently is the day. But you know what? Now that I say that, my neighbor is actually a digital effects artist he works on a bunch of TV shows and movies. I am actually going to inquire with him because he does a lot. He actually does. Well, he did stuff for The Boys season 2.
Yeah. To my understanding, those types of studios are already slammed. They're already like kind of like right to the wire of these release dates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So with things, if things get backed up, I can imagine it's an absolute disaster. So shout outs to people in that industry. I know you guys are definitely underpaid, so hopefully some things change for you guys. Rob, what do you think is the best way? When you read that tweet, everyone's making jokes. Like, do you throw your phone? What's the most like kind of pissed off way you
beat
can deal
my
with
kid?
Do you?
I said, no, come here. And he goes, Daddy. I was like, whack, whack, whack.
Do you violently like swipe it off your screen, or do you screenshot it? And start,
I don't have a home button
anymore.
I don't have a home button to just press it and be like, and I was just, Do
you just close your screen, but then it's gonna pop back up when you open your screen back up? Like
I swipe it up, so I get rid of the app altogether. I'm like, I don't want to even look at this app anymore. I'm done with it.
Because if we were in the 80s or 90s, you could have got it in the fax, and then you crumple the fax paper up, and you chuck it at someone working at the fax machine or in the copy room.
I would like, put this in the garbage. Whack. Oh. Lastly, John, this past weekend saw the release of The Adam Project on Netflix, the Ryan Reynolds starring movie, directed by Sean Levy. The two previously teamed up together on last year's hit Free Guy. Well, it was announced Friday that they are teaming up once more, John, for Deadpool 3. Now, while this may not be the first time we see Reynolds as Deadpool in the MCU, that's right. I'm going to say it again. This may not be the first time we see Reynolds as Deadpool in the MCU. There are rumors out there, John. This will be his first movie under the Marvel MCU umbrella, and they have promised it will maintain its R rating status. No date for the movie has been announced, but the script is in the final stages. The director's attached, so maybe we see it in 2024, John. So my question to you, buddy, is that are you excited about Sean Levy stepping into the world of Deadpool? Are you happy we're getting Deadpool 3?
Yeah, it's always good when I guess if an actor and director work well together. So we saw with Tom Cruise, I think that Ralph McQuarrie or whoever his name, Christopher McQuarrie was only supposed to do like only supposed to do one movie, and then I guess they worked together so well that they kind of like spread it out into like this whole thing. So Free Guy was a ton of fun. You guys are saying Adam Project was pretty good. Rob, you said Adam Project was pretty good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So if you've got that chemistry, then keep it rolling. I wouldn't say I was super attached to any of the previous directors of the Deadpool, so I'm not gonna be upset that they're not bringing anybody back. But yeah.
Well, the first was Tim Miller, who he was more. That was his first movie. He was more known for. You know what he directed, John? Remember that Batman Arkham? Was it Arkham Knight or Arkham Origins game where you see Bruce Wayne? It was the lightning, and you see the young Bruce Wayne, and he's holding on to his mom's hand, and she falls, and it's the face of Bruce Wayne going through all these things as he's growing up, and all these flashes of violence. Anyways, he directed that. The Deadpool 2 was directed by David Leitch, I think, from John Wick fame, John. So
yeah. I did enjoy Deadpool 2, but I don't mind if they take it and do a more like Free Guy was very essentially kind of like Ryan Reynolds still playing a very similar character to Deadpool at certain points, right? Kind of like with him talking to the audience, almost kind of thing. So, did
you pull up his Twitter feed or no? You didn't?
I did, but I can't find. There's like a million things on here.
Because anyways, on his Twitter feed, Reynolds confirmed the news.
You can describe the tweet,
and he just it's a photo of his Free Guy. It's of the forest, and he's got Free Guy character, the character from the Adam Project and Deadpool, and he just confirms it, saying, "I'm excited to be completing my Sean Levy trilogy. The next movie will be a lot more stabby." So. I'm excited for it. I will say this though, John, I'm going to put it out here right now. I'm a bit nervous. Nervous. It's going to be a bit more family friendly and that they might go for a PG-13, even though Disney has said, no, we want this to be rated R. And Reynolds does have a fair amount of pull. I do have a bit of, with Sean Levy coming on board, that it might skew to a bit more of that PG-13 void. So I don't know. I could be wrong, but we shall see. But that, John, is one hell of a lot of news for you.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was a ton, Rob. I'm okay with them getting rid of the rated R. I think you can still make things funny and violent without it being full out rated R. So I think they could pull. Was Free Guy rated R? Definitely not, right?
No, PG-13.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm okay with it. What do you guys think of this Deadpool 3 development? Would you not watch it if it was PG? Let us know. Right, yeah. Now we're gonna reverse everything now. Go.
Yeah, Fraser says keep it R. So thanks everybody in the chat who are jumping. I guess Lewis is getting himself a new MacBook computer, and the guys are going a bit bananas, talking. They're geeking out about the specs. Sarah is getting angry at Gord, complaining that his laptop is
no, I think she's saying keep it rated R.
Oh, or she's a pirate. R. John, do we have a sponsor tonight? No, we don't. Okay.
No. Do we? What? Where?
No, we don't, man. I just want to say, if you haven't had an opportunity to check out the Heroes World store up in Markham, go check it out. Lots of cool stuff. And I really did enjoy your unboxing of that McFarlane statue. I'm salivating, John. I'm salivating at it.
Put it on your next birthday or wish list.
Dude, I wish. I would like to. You want to know why? But in 2 weeks, my daughter is back into full competition season for dance. And sound that is emanating from my house is my bank account being drained every weekend, that there are hotel fees and dance fees and competition fees and everything else. So okay, so listen, I guess we're going to get into the main part of the show, John.
Yeah, what are we talking about again? What do we choose this
week? We are talking about 10 things I hate about you.
Oh man, that's so.
I actually have 11 for you, John.
What are they? I want you to read them.
One is your face.
No, that's not how the movie goes.
We're talking about the movie.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right, Rob.
Yeah.
We live in a Twilight world. So
yes, we do. Look at that, bud. We are talking about Tenet. Before I get into the rundown, John, have you seen this? Did you see this movie before?
I have not seen this movie. So this was my first time watching it. Rob, I believe it's your second time watching it. Some of y'all in the comments, I think, have said you've already watched it and this was your second go. Some of you are new. I think Sarah had a post before that said it made her head hurt. So I hear you. I hear you. Did you have a rundown, or do you want me to pull up some stats?
I got a rundown, bud. I got a rundown.
Oh, Rob, what a professional.
Yeah. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to talk about Tenet? I hope so.
A lot of stuff happened with this movie, right? This is a crazy thing that happened. It was a movie of the pandemic. But go ahead, Rob. Let's see if you got all the facts.
Okay. Tenet, released September 3rd, 2020, was the first Hollywood big budget movie to be released in theaters after the initial pandemic shutdown, John. Undoubtedly, COVID played a role in its box office numbers, as the movie only pulled in $363.7 million worldwide on a $200 million budget. If you take a look at what Nolan's movies have done, that was probably on the lower end. The movie, written and directed by Christopher Nolan, obviously known here for his Batman trilogy and mind-bending movies, Memento, Inception, and Interstellar, one of my personal favorites. The plot and ideas took Nolan about 20 years to properly flesh out, John, and it's possible that 20 years just wasn't enough time, given its confusing use of time and linear storytelling. Tenet stars John David Washington, otherwise known as Denzel's son, Robert Pattinson, Kenneth Branagh, Elizabeth Debicki, Aaron Taylor Johnson, as well as Nolan favorite Michael Caine in a cameo. Now, Nolan has a history of working with Hans Zimmer to score his movies, but Zimmer had to turn down the job, John. He had to turn down scoring this movie because he was scoring a movie called, Scott, you want to guess? Dune. So Nolan had to hire Ludwig Göransson, 37-year-old wonder kid who has scored Creed 1 and 2, Venom, and Black Panther, for which he won an Oscar. In fact, John, I actually think I just finished watching Turning Red, and I believe he actually scored that as well. Speaking of Oscars, Tenet won an Oscar last year for Best Visual Effects. Critic reviews were all over the place for Tenet, with a lot of complaints about being unable to make out the dialogue of characters. And Nolan has a thing. This is his thing. He drowns out a lot of his actors with loud effects and music, making it very difficult to understand what is happening sometimes. Now, Rotten Tomato has the movie at 69, dude. Critic score with an audience score of 76%. The question for John and our viewers and listeners is, will you go back into the chamber and invert yourself so you can see the movie again?
Cool. Look at that. That's crazy, Rob. And then this also spawned a whole controversy, right? With Nolan not being happy with this digital release, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So if we actually go back into the inversion machine and all the way back,
I'm just trying to transport us back to that time when.
Yeah. What happened was Warner Brothers had made announcements that they were going to be debuting a number of their movies on HBO Max as well as theater. As we know, the biggest one was going to be Wonder Woman 84 that came out December of 2020. Christopher Nolan was like, bullshit, my movie is not going on HBO Max. He was a massive letter. He wrote this big letter. He put it out in papers. I even believe Denis Villeneuve had stepped up because he didn't want Dune to be released this way as well. And yeah, you go ahead and keep drinking, guys. And Nolan said, I'm not, he has a lot of push with Warner Brothers. They finally realized that he wanted this to be the movie that would save cinema, John. Don't forget, movies, nobody had been to a theater since March of 2020, right? The last kind of releases were, I think it was Bloodshot, right? The guy with Vin Diesel. Yeah, so that was like the last movies in like the early parts of March 2020, but everything shut down. Nolan was convinced that Tenet was going to save cinema, and everybody's going to come back in masses. And people were like, "Fuck no, there's still COVID out there." So it didn't go as well as he had hoped. Although they did re-release it into theaters March of 2021 when things started to ease up somewhat, and then we went boobs up and got even messier. So all this to say, the whole thing from Warner Brothers has soured the relationship between Chris Nolan and Warner, so much so that his upcoming movie, I can't remember the name of it. Damn it, John, I keep sending you guys messages about this movie. That's a weird
name for a movie. It's long, too. Damn it, I can't remember it. I keep sending John messages about this movie directed by Christopher Nolan.
That's right. They keep issuing out, what's it called? Oppenheimer. Nolan's Oppenheimer is no longer going to be done with Warner Brothers, going to another studio. So, at any rate, that's where we are with Tenet. John, let's get into it. I look forward to seeing what our friends in the chat have to say about Tenet. And if you are listening because you couldn't join us live, hey man, come join us live every Monday night, 8:15 on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. Okay, let's go.
Get in on the live chat. Yeah. So Rob, I think you said you saw this in theaters, right?
I did. My wife and I went to the theaters in September of 2020 and be like, well, we're not afraid of COVID. Give me some popcorn. We were afraid of COVID.
yeah.
There was nobody in the theater. There was 6 of us, John.
Wow.
That was only 6 people in the theater. Yeah.
It's like basically a private showing.
It was great.
So yeah. So it's a bit crazy, all the circumstances. I wonder like if this movie would have been better received if it had come during, normal times or whatever like that. So me watching it for the first time, watching it on my home screen, I did pop the headphones in because I know Nolan movies, you have to kind of experience them, the sound and all that kind of stuff. Even though I've only seen, I think, Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises in theaters. So I think I owe it to this guy, whatever the next movie is, to go and see. I really wanted to catch Dunkirk. I missed it. Inception, I never saw in theaters, and then so this I never saw in theaters. But I watched it. I think if you try to like figure this movie out as it's rolling, it's pretty intense. It's gonna get really confusing. So I feel like you have to sit along for the ride until I don't think it clicked in for me till towards the end what was really going on. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here. Like, why is this guy like walking backwards? Why is this bullet jumping back into his hand and stuff like that? But once they started getting a little bit deeper in, I kind of put two and two together. And I like that he went crazy for this concept. Like, this is pretty ambitious, right? So like the kind of scope of this story. So overall, I actually did like this movie. And I started to fire it up again. And I think on the second viewing, there's a lot more things that you do pick up. But I feel like some people are just maybe that just wanted to go and see a popcorn movie are just going to be like a ejectocito cuz. But why does this one become so much more complicated than Inception? It's been a while since I saw Inception, but do you think it's like harder to grasp than Inception, or you think it just maybe other elements of it didn't work as well as something like an Inception, why it's so kind of divided?
Yeah, well, if so, you look at Inception, and even Interstellar. I mean, he really he does a lot of research for these type of movies. Like he talks to when we did Interstellar stuff, he talks to astrophysicists, he talks to scientists, astronomers. Like he really gets in. He same with Tenet. He went and spoke to a lot of individuals, string theory specialists, and again, physicists.
I think one of the things was reverse entropy or something like that, and I was going to try and put together a bit for it, and I started to read up, and I was like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, I
was like, maybe I should call Scott up and be like, yo, Scott, can you come up with something funny for me? But
but I do think that in watching Inception, I've watched it a fair amount of times. As I said before, I love Interstellar. I just watched it again a little while ago. I can watch that movie 3-4 times a year. This one for Tenet,
that's already good.
It is so it's not clear. His explanation of things is not clear.
Okay.
And that was my taking of it. Like, not that Inception and Interstellar are like dumbed down for us, but I think it was a lot more easily digestible in the way in which the ideas behind the theories were explained. You could understand what was happening. In this one, in Tenet, it was like you had so many people providing information that was up for us as the audience to kind of piece together what this whole thing was. It got too convoluted. You didn't just have that. You weren't along for the ride at times. But John, I echo what you said. Dude, I actually really like this movie. I wanted to fire it up again today, but I realized something last night because I rewound the last 20 minutes and watched it again. I had to have the subtitles on. I think if you have subtitles on, it will help you probably understand what the hell is being said, because oftentimes, as I had said earlier, the critics were really irritated the fact that Nolan drowns out a lot of people of their dialogue with the music and the sound effects. But I was like, oh, that's what he said again? Like I was able to kind of piece it together based on subtitles. So
yeah. I think I'm old because I watch a lot of or something about me is just getting old. But I watch a lot of movies and TV shows now with subtitles on. So I definitely had them on for this movie. I didn't notice sound issues, but I also had the additional aid of having subtitles on. I think it was only when they're on the boat and the water's crashing and this guy is basically trying to explain to him what the agency is. That was really loud. I'm like, why is this water so loud? I can't hear what's going on. But I didn't really notice it anywhere else. But I guess in theaters it must have been troublesome.
Yeah, I actually felt like I came out of the theater experience understanding it more than I did this time. And I think part and parcel of that might have been because I was watching it through the Crave app. Like I wasn't watching it through like a Blu-ray or my own 4K version of it, like on iTunes. And I just say that to, when you watch these off these streaming things, the sound mix is different when you're watching it through like a, Crave or whatever. So, interestingly enough, I saw that I think Lewis said he'll never watch Interstellar, and I don't understand that. Never watched Interstellar. I don't get that. But can we just say, John, this movie looks gorgeous. Like, that's the thing about this movie. It looks hella cool. Like, Christopher Nolan
On all fronts,
impress.
all fronts. I think a lot of the work was done practically, right? Like, they crashed that plane. That's a real plane. They crashed into a building. And even like just visual, like style wise, like the suits and all the clothing that everybody wore looked really good. Like everybody looked really good in this movie. Speaking of which, what do you think of the two stars? One guy, or is the protagonist considered the main star? I feel like,
that's John.
So
that's his name. That is known as the protagonist.
Yeah. Because I don't know what I was doing, and finally in the subtitles it said, I guess he was off screen, and then it says the protagonist, and then it says like what he said, and I'm like, what the hell is it? Did they just call this guy just the protagonist? What's going on? And I'm like, oh yeah, they haven't mentioned his name.
He never had a name.
This movie.
Yeah.
But I really liked him. I don't know what else he's in. But he definitely has the chops to be like a new level action star. So I don't know what else he's got upcoming.
Well, he was in Spike Lee's Black Klansman.
I remember. Yeah. And that's a comedy though, right?
No, it's a drama based on a real. But that's where Nolan saw him in that movie. He was also in something on Netflix that just came out a number of months ago, and it's on my list. I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, he's been he's in a few, definitely a few movies that are coming out. But yeah, man, his fight scenes were pretty intense. Like when he was just beating those guys down with the cheese grater on his hand.
I was like, thank God this movie isn't rated like, I don't know, like even darker, or I guess maybe Nolan doesn't get as gory. But I'm like, the damage that he would have done with I think at one point he rakes it across a guy's face, and I'm like, oh God. This is like, if you're ever grating cheese, do you not just think in your head like, man, if I'm not paying attention to my knuckle goes in there or whatever, you're just like, not only is the food toast, you're also like, how am I going to treat this wound?
Is it?
Okay, maybe if you're Army Hammer, it's fine. But shout outs to Army, we missed you, but you did some crazy shit in your.
Now, okay, so did this movie then make sense for you? Did you understand the notion?
So the first time around, especially when he first meets up with the doctor, and she's like, oh, like you pick up the bullet, you have to like, and they actually, it's all laid out there. So like, I think one of the things that people like about Nolan is he doesn't just do a ton of like explaining to the audience. So he like leaves a little bit. Maybe he should have explained a little bit more, but all that like lost me. I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on. You have to act like you dropped the bullet, and then they actually show you the videotape. No, you think it goes backwards, but in actual time it's going forwards, but you're experiencing in reverse or whatever.
Yeah,
that thing totally lost me. His relationship with Robert Pattinson, I like their chemistry, but at first it doesn't really make sense. You're almost like, is there maybe a romance going on here? I don't know what's going on, because like Robert Pattinson's character just seems enamored with him, right? And you're kind of like, this is a little weird. And then he's down to do whatever. And then later on at the reveal at the end, which is kind of heartbreaking, that basically his destiny is to. Does he die? Is Robert Pattinson's character destined to die?
So that was the confusing part, and I agree with you, because when you first meet Robert Pattinson's character, he orders a drink, and he goes, "Oh, he'll have a Diet Coke," and he's looking, and he's like, and you could.
He's like, no, actually, I prefer soda water, and he's like, no, you don't.
No, you don't. Yeah,
and there's like this little thing, and you're like, did they just know each other? Like, they don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. So you're like, are they maybe flirting, which I thought was kind of like a cool thing that they added, but he seems so adamant about saving the other girl, and you're just like, what's going on here?
So here's the part of the ending that it does get confusing, because it's not laid out very well, because Pattinson's character is on the blue team. He's the inverted team. However, what was he inverts and reinverts himself back into normal timeline and inverts himself again. So what happens is, if you remember, the protagonist and Aaron Taylor, Kick-Ass, I don't remember his name. Kick-Ass. They're down in that tunnel. The gate is closed, and and Kenneth Branagh is talking to him through the phone. The guy is setting the bomb, and there's a body on the ground, right? Yeah. And all of a sudden, the guy, Branagh says, shoot him. And he goes to he pulls his gun, and then all of a sudden the body steps up and his visor's all red. And then all of a sudden his head jerks and the bullet comes back into the gun. And then he turns around and he unlocks the door for the protagonist to come in. And he's holding the door as Kick-Ass and protagonist come in. And then he goes backwards and he closes the door and he locks it and he runs backwards up the step. That is obviously, as we know, that is Robert Pattinson's character. Yeah. So when he's got the talking,
little tag on his backpack, right?
Right, the tag. But when he's talking to the protagonist and he's like, "This is like, I think this is the end of my journey, but this is just the beginning of yours." He's going to go back. That's when he goes, do you know anybody else that could open up that door? And Kick-Ass is like, nobody else I know could pick a lock as good as you. He's going to go back in, and he's going to invert himself to go back. So he'll be the person that opens up that locked gate. So that whole thing got really confusing because Pattinson does start as inverted, and then he reverts, and then inverts, and like it's just, and you don't know how. You don't see that transition of him going through like the switch, like so that last section intermixed with the phone call that Kenneth Branagh is on. It gets to be very confusing, like when you're watching it. And I might have actually just caused Sarah's head to just go because she was saying that she didn't.
I think it depends on. I think it depends on how much you want to invest in this movie. If you want to just sit down and watch it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Jonathan, I have no idea what the hell Rob is talking about.
Okay, so let's say maybe in another year or so, maybe we'll come back and we'll actually have visual aids where we bust out the Jamboard or whatever and drop them on the sheet and stuff. So
I tried. It's the body. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. Okay. So let's not. I don't think we're going to be able to explain this whole plot in a night, anyways. But for those of you that enjoy the movies, or maybe you enjoyed parts of the movie, do you have like a favorite scene, Rob? Could I guess? Is it maybe the raid on that set piece where they crash the airplane? I think it's called the port raid or whatever, the holding port raid or whatever it's called, or it was one of the other scenes like
no, you're right. And actually that apparently that exists. So I will say there are a number of articles written about this movie that try to explain it. There's a Vulture article that does like a step-by-step, like a beat for beat retelling of the movie. So I did read that again today, and the name of that it was Oslo, right? That's in that airport actually exists, where people can actually store their shit without being charged taxes. At any rate,
I questioned. I was like, I think that exists, but I'm like, why does it exist than to allow illegal activities to happen? You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, sure, whatever. It's like it's almost like these accounts in the Cayman Islands. Like, why does this thing exist other than to let people pull off shady shit? Which I guess is a way for the movie. So even if you didn't like the movie, folks, like I know Sarah, I guess you got confused, but did you enjoy scenes? Like, were there scenes that you liked? So definitely hit us up with those.
So I did like that whole sequence of them breaking in the doors, holding their breath, trying to get through, trying to essentially destroy that paint or steal that painting. And then, but the fight scene between the protagonist and what we find out to be himself, his future version of himself, was hella cool, man. Like, because like you could tell that I don't even know how they did it, because one was working in forward time and the other one they had reversed. Like the cinematography of it was.
I think they had to learn how to do stunts backwards. Or something. So a lot of the stuff is practical. So I don't know. We should have done a video earlier if we could fake walking backwards and look and see how convincing it looked. But I was like, I feel like, go ahead. Yeah.
Who was the masked dude that fired the inverted bullet at the beginning of the film? That was Robert Pattinson.
That was Robert Pattinson.
Because he had the backpack with the trinket and he actually saved the protagonist.
Yeah.
The problem is that we don't know there's no defined timeline. Like, this is the difficult part about this movie, is that when that happens at the beginning of the movie, we don't know how far along into Robert Pattinson's work for Tenet that actually is. And the same with Sergei, right? Like Branagh. When he goes back to that boat, when his wife ends up killing him, he puts himself back in that timeline. He goes backwards. So that's the whole thing that's really confusing. Also, like, when the protagonist is dropped off in the windmill and he's there for like a week, you're like I don't understand what the fuck he's sitting there. No, he was in that windmill. Remember they dropped him off. He was in the windmill in the middle of the ocean.
I think it was so he was out of the way for the
because it was when the ship's going backwards. Essentially, he had told at near the end when the ship's going backwards, that's where he was. They were trying to keep him out of the way. So it's so messed up. But it's not,
and then they added the oxygen mask to kind of like give you a cue, and then it got to a point where I didn't realize that they could uninvert, like after they traveled back. They could uninvert, and I'm like, oh, how come they all of a sudden they don't need a mask and stuff like that? So
what was your favorite scene?
I think I really like that scene where they just set up these bungee propeller things to get into this building. I don't know why. It was very I guess James Bondy or whatever. They're laying out these things, and then the protagonist is like testing them out, making sure they're secure, and then they like bolt the thing to the ground and they like fly off and stuff like that. I thought it was really cool. But cool. After they land, I'm like, you see two guys drop down from bungee cords and just like unclip and just walk into the crowd. You don't notice it. You don't go, what the hell?
Nobody stopped.
Where'd these guys come from?
Nobody looked around like, what the hell, man? You know as well as I do that if you and I are walking down the street, all of a sudden these two dudes drop out of the sky on bungee cords and unclip. First of all, we'd be like, what the fuck? Everybody would get in your phones out looking like, what's going on? We wouldn't just keep walking, bang. Oh, yeah, so that was a good thing. Yeah, okay. I actually thought for you, I thought you were going to enjoy the drive chase scene. I thought that that would have been your...
I liked the heist setup was really cool, and then they wanted his specs. Like, when they're putting the things together, I think there's a lot of like little parts of this movie that really work for me. When they're like, oh, we need a fire truck. We needed this. We need a car that's fast but doesn't look fast. So they had that Beamer and stuff like that. It was like a lot of like little pieces and stuff like that. But the first time around, a lot of that stuff didn't make sense to me. I'm like, why is this suitcase like rolling across the hood so funnily? Yeah. Why is this car like flipping upside down? And then it all makes sense later on when they go back and reverse it. So it's overall, I do like this movie. So I don't know. I feel like a second watch is gonna be in store, but I understand why some people are just like, forget it. You know, that's Scott. I think Scott said a lot of things to him were predictable.
So guys,
I didn't really see things coming till like right before. I'm like, when they go into the thing, I'm like, oh, right when it's about to happen, I'm like, oh, I bet you that guy running is probably like them. But it turned out both of them were the protagonists going like one way and the other. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm just a little too slow to pick that up.
So I'd like to know, the people in the chat, what your favorite scene was, if you had one. Sarah, Gord, Lewis, Fraser, Scott, let us know.
Even if you were confused by this movie, did you have fun with it, or was it just too much that it was confusing?
Because I will say, like, I know my wife, when we got out of the, she won't see it again. We got out of the theater. She was confused by it, which is understandable. But she did say it, like, it looks gorgeous. Like, there is no question that it was smart and that it looked amazing. But it felt just way too convoluted, way too smart. Like, it was just, but it, that, especially the end, like, she really enjoyed watching everything in reverse and how they did it. Mm-hmm. So, especially that end, seeing the red and blue teams, like, on the pincer move, essentially, right, running at the same time.
Yeah, that's. I think it took me that far into the movie to really get what was going on. That they were kind of like reversing through time, and visually, it looks like they're going backwards. But when they're doing it, it looks like they're going forward. Like, yeah. So it looks like
there's that one scene. Yeah,
Gordon. I guess Gordon didn't like it at all. He says the end credits.
There was that one scene though, John, where he Remember the two of them fire the shoulder-mounted rocket launchers.
Yeah. They double blow. They double blow up the building.
Yeah, it goes back up. They blow it in the middle. It goes back up. They blow it at the top, and it comes down, and the middle goes down at the same. Like I was like, holy shit! Like it just looks so fucking cool, right? So
yeah. So Fraser shouts out the big raid at the end. So let's see. Well, other comments come in. Rob, I was gonna throw out a couple other movies at you. That maybe have relevance to this movie, and we're gonna just play a quick little game of would you rather watch this or one of these movies, and we'll see kind of where you stand at the end. So
is one of them Gremlins?
No, totally not Gremlins. How's Gremlins related? Okay, so these are the ones that I came up with, and I'm gonna throw some at you from the internet. So would you watch Tenet or anything from the Twilight Saga?
Tenet. What's wrong with you?
What took you so long?
I was just like, is there a third option? I didn't understand what the hell you were doing.
No. Would you watch Tenet or would you watch Time Cop?
Tenet.
Yeah. All right. Would you watch Adam Sandler's Click or Tenet?
Tenet.
It's although a similar concept, though, right?
It is kind of. There is a little bit of similarities to there are some similarities. Yeah. But if they had used a device like that, John, it would have made a whole lot more sense.
Yeah.
They had the remote control.
Okay. In a similar vein, would you watch Keanu Reeves' The Lake House or Tenet?
Tenet for the action, man.
Yeah. But the whole letter writing thing is how they get their messages to each other in the different timelines. All right, so here's some movies from the internet that are claimed to be, if you like this genre. Oh man, that's a good one. Hot Tub Time Machine. Hot Tub Time Machine is pretty fun though.
I really like Hot Tub Time Machine. Not so much number 2, but I really like number 1.
Yeah.
I might have to go with
Scott's going Lake House. I guess you didn't have any problems with the physics in Lake House.
Yeah. Gord really did not like Tenet.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh man. Okay, so here's some movies from the internet. Michael Douglas's The Game. Would you watch The Game? I don't know what the connection is, or Tenet.
Oh, there's no connection in terms of it. Yeah. I love The Game. Actually, that's on Amazon Prime. I'm going to go watch that again because I really, really like that movie a lot. But I would probably stick with Tenet. But I really liked The Game. It's been maybe about 15, 20 years since I've seen The Game. So,
yeah. Okay. How about Extraction? I don't know why this is on the list. Maybe because they're operatives, which is that's a Netflix movie with Chris Hemsworth.
I would probably watch Tenet again, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a thing for Christopher Nolan movies, so I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So now it's going to get tricky. Now these are solid killers here. So let's see. So you folks at home play along. Inception or Tenet?
Ooh. Well, I would probably pick Inception because I can understand that movie a lot better than I can understand Tenet right now.
It's a little bit of an easier watch. Okay. How about Memento or Tenet?
It's been a long time since I've seen Memento. I'm going to go with... I'll probably go with Tenet.
Yeah? I think I would have chose Memento. I really love Memento. It's crazy.
It's been a long time since I've seen that.
Yeah. All right. So here's a super easy one. Spectre or Tenet?
Spectre.
That's because you're biased in James Bond. All right, so that's how Tenet stacks up to a bunch of random movies.
If it was Interstellar or Tenet, Interstellar all the way.
Interstellar? Okay, so Nolan films, you've watched a lot more than me. Would Tenet make your top 3 of Nolan films?
No,
not at all, eh?
No.
All
Think of all the movies that he's done. Like, I mean, this movie only came out 2 years ago. I think Gord first mentioned it in the chat. 1917, I think, is what. And I went and saw that. Unfortunately, we went before Landmark went over some renovations. I think it was still an AMC theater, and they had an IMAX. And Kelly and I my wife and I went and saw it, 1917, in the theaters. And Wait, was it 1917? No, what was the one that he did?
Was it Dunkirk?
Dunkirk. Sorry, that's what I'm talking about. Sorry, Dunkirk. And it was we went to the IMAX portion of it, but the sound was like our ears were bleeding. Like it was not an enjoyable experience, and they ended up doing a massive renovation. Anyways, I want to go back and rewatch Dunkirk because I did enjoy, from what I could remember of it. But you got to think of it like Dunkirk, Interstellar, Inception. What was the one he did with the magician one?
Prestige.
The Prestige, yeah, because there was two.
Prestige.
Yeah, the Prestige is good. Like it's a decent movie. There were two.
There's two competing movies. I forgot what it was. It was Prestige and something else that was like kind of magic related that were kind of like showing down.
Yeah, but I've got the Prestige as well. So I have most of his movies on Blu-ray. And I do like Mementos. Like he has, and obviously the Batman trilogy. So no, when you think about all those other movies, I probably wouldn't put Tenet in my top 3, but I'd say it's probably right in the middle. I actually may enjoy Tenet more than Dark Knight Rises.
I think that, yeah, I can totally see that. I think that's expected.
Oh, here we go. The Illusionist. That was right.
Illusionist. Yeah. There were like two competing movies about like magician style things. Yeah, the Prestige. Yeah, we're almost falling down a Christopher Nolan rabbit hole here.
Yeah,
I haven't seen a lot of these movies actually. Dunkirk or 1917.
Well, 1917 is not a Christopher Nolan movie.
Okay.
No. It was just it's a World War I movie.
Yeah.
That was
those are movies that I would watch if I was like kind of like in a theater, like to sit down. But if I ever have to fire them up on Netflix or something, I'm gonna
screenshot
for some reason. Yeah, Rob, we'll put it on the shirt. We'll get this little bubble, and it'll have a picture of Sarah and Gordon.
It'll have a picture of Sarah and Gordon saying, "Yep, Rob was right.
Rob is right."
In fact, actually, that's a really good idea, John. I think we can get T-shirts made, right? I'm gonna get that made with that. And we should give them out when we have the pizza thing. And say, "Yep, Rob was right."
Yeah. All right. So overall, Tenet, I think would you recommend it to people, or you think they have to be in a certain mindset to watch this type of movie?
That's a really good question because I don't.
A lot of people told me not to watch it when I was like, I want to watch it. A lot of people were like, watch something else. I don't think it's for you. So yeah.
I don't think I could recommend people to watch Tenet unless I knew they were like really into this genre of films. Like I would have no problem recommending somebody to watch Interstellar, to watch, and I'm talking to you, Lewis, to watch Inception, even like because I think that the average, if you haven't seen those, if you don't like science fiction, there's a lot though about those movies that you could glean off of it, and they're smart. I just think that this is a really hard movie to tell somebody to watch because I think somebody's going to watch it and then they're going to come back and say, "I won't trust anything you've ever said to me again." So I just really think that this is a tough movie to recommend to people. So I don't know. What do you think? Would you recommend it?
No. I'd say you'd have to be willing to put in some work. I wouldn't recommend it as just like, a Friday afternoon or, Saturday afternoon. I think you have to want to watch this one. So I'm glad I watched it. I think I'm definitely going to go back to it. Shout outs to people who watch movies with their significant others and the significant other falls asleep. If you don't like the movie, do you continue it or do you just pretend that you watched it all? My wife was notorious for this during the romantic comedy days of our relationship. And this was before Wikipedia and all that stuff existed. So I couldn't just look up the ending. I'd have to sit through these god-awful movies till the end to see the resolution of this relationship that people had. And repeatedly, I catch her watching movies on Netflix or Prime, and I'm like, "We watched this," and she's like, "We did," and I'm like, "Yeah, you fell asleep, and now you're watching it now."
Yeah, I would just keep watching it. If my wife's gonna fall asleep, she's not gonna want to rewatch it. Like, admittedly, my wife is not a movie person. Really, like she doesn't. There's very few movies that she would sit and watch, so I would just keep watching it. We don't watch things anymore now, anyways. We just have different tastes. Like, in fact, right now, Scott, she's already halfway through the Bachelor 2-hour episode. I don't even know what Scott's doing watching us right now. So,
yeah, shout out to that. Like, I think I mentioned this before in the podcast. The last movie I sat down in theaters to watch with my wife was that third Twilight movie. So I don't know what year that movie came out, but that's the last time we like legit sat down and watched a movie in the theaters together. We've watched like random stuff online, but
Kelly, we'll go to see movies in theaters, but for generally just sit down at home and watch a movie, we don't do that anymore. So that's Tenet. I mean, I think it's interesting the entire time Gord was pissed off about the rental of this movie, which is so funny because he probably just could have paid for a 1 month of Crave and he would have covered it. And he says he doesn't love this movie, but the time travel concept is original and he likes that aspect of it. So I'm sorry that Gordon and Sarah didn't like it, but thanks for watching it with us. Thank
you. All right. So let's wrap up Tenet. Maybe we'll revisit it in a year and with diagrams and other
flow charts.
Yeah. Flow charts. Analyze the tape, watch it backwards. But I don't know. Rob, what do you want to get into next week? Do we have a plan, or should we do this behind the scenes?
Oh, we haven't really talked about it, John. When are we getting back into our are we giving a bit more time for the 90s action? We're waiting.
I don't mind taking a little bit more of a break. Okay. I feel like we could have a whole series of shit that I haven't watched, but I don't know if I basically picked Tenet. So I don't know if you want to pick something, or if anyone in the comments has got a suggestion of somewhere you want to go.
Where you want to go, what you want to be. I don't really know, John. I'm trying to think what's coming out in the next couple of weeks. Well, nothing.
Is Extraction 2? Is Extraction 2 coming soon?
No, I think that they're just filming it. It's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't actually know what's coming out on Netflix. Yeah, what is the homework? Well, as we're trying to figure out, Sarah, we're trying to figure out what our 90s homework is going to be. I don't know. I'm just trying to think what's out there, John. I don't know. I guess we'll have to figure it out and then post it this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we stick with Nolan or if we go somewhere different. Do you have anything that
I have one of the like I loved Inception the first time I watched it. I didn't see it in theaters. I watched it on video. Actually, did I see it in theaters? Huh. I think I did see it in theaters because then I bought it on Blu-ray and I've never watched the Blu-ray. So I don't know if we want to go back to something like that. I haven't seen great stuff that Rob always mentions, like Hell or No Country for Old Men. Is that the one you always mention?
Yeah, No Country for Old Men. No Country for Old Men or Hell or High Water.
Yeah. I haven't seen those. I haven't seen Extraction. I don't know what else. I've got a whole list of stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff on my rewatch as well too, like Drive. I haven't watched rewatched Drive before. So maybe we'll have to let's do The Gentleman. We already did The Gentleman, Scott.
Yeah. Or we should do Interstellar just so Lewis has to watch it. Okay, you know what? We'll come up with something. We'll come up with something in the next, next couple of days, and then, unless,
I do love some Baby Driver. What's up, Shayna? It's been a minute.
Yeah, Baby Driver's been a. Lewis, I'll quit the show. Did you ever watch was it Drive, the one with Ryan Gosling?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I own it on Blu-ray, but it's one of those things I saw it once and I haven't rewatched it. It's almost like a Drive and Baby Driver showdown. What do you watch? What would you watch more? But
I don't know. It begats a question about whether or not Baby Driver is a movie that you can rewatch, given the controversy surrounding both Kevin Spacey and Ansel Elgort or Engord or whatever his name is.
Ansel Einhart?
Yeah, Kevin Spacey's in it, and that's when everything kind of broke about his misdeeds.
Yeah. I was like, can you digitally edit him out of this movie?
But then it is also the one with Ansel as well, with some of the controversies surrounding him. So it makes it difficult to know.
Yeah, he was in West Side Story recently, I think, right?
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus.
What about
look at Gord. See, Gord and I, for the mostly, we seem to have a we're kind of
I haven't watched these movies, and I've been recommended them so many times. I think There Will Be Blood more so than the other. What about Winter Soldier? Would we ever want to entertain a Winter Soldier rewatch? We're hot off the heels of The Batman. Is it the greatest superhero movie ever?
Didn't we just do that like a year and a half ago?
We talked about our favorite Marvel movies like when we first launched the podcast 2 years ago.
No, we've done this. It's not happening again. Well, listen. Okay, we've got a couple of options. We could do No Country for Old Men. We can do There Will Be Blood. Although I find that No Country for Old Men is streaming. Where There Will Be Blood, I don't believe is streaming anywhere.
Oh, boo! All right, so
I can double check. Although you should own a copy of that.
Yeah. Rocky 4 versus Creed 2. Rocky 4 is with Ivan Drago, is it not? I feel like that wins no matter what. Whatever happened to that director's cut? Is that available?
No, not yet.
Oh, Howard the Hey, you're not alone, Shane. There's a lot of people who love Howard the Duck. So Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Oh my God! All right, now we're getting a little crazy.
No Country for Old Men is streaming on Crave if you have that. Well, you know what, John? Why don't we figure it out so we don't keep people sitting here wondering what the hell we're doing?
Yeah, if you've got ideas, send it to us via socials or whatever.
Hell or High Water is on Netflix. So we'll find whatever we do. We'll find it as long as it's streaming somewhere on the major services here. Then we'll make sure we get it out to you guys.
Oh, you know what? Avatar I've never watched. Avatar versus Fern Gully. I've watched Fern Gully though.
Well, I would imagine Avatar, we may end up revisiting it if Avatar 2 drops at the end of this year. So we might as well just wait for that.
Oh, we never did get to Clueless. We did do Mean Girls. Scott's suggesting Clueless versus Mean Girls. That's for a night that Rob's not here.
Yeah. Although my daughter just watched Clueless. She just watched it like
Clueless is great, man.
I guess.
Clueless is great.
All right.
Encino Man. Shout out
I just saw that a little while ago. It's not called Encino Man, though. In Canada,
no, it's not anymore.
It's called California Man or something.
Why?
I looked it up because apparently Disney were worried at the time that people didn't know outside of like the US wouldn't know that Encino was a place in California. So they're like, people won't understand what Encino is, so we're gonna call it gonna call it
California Man.
Yeah.
One step away from Florida Man. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's what they called it, California Man or something.
All right. Anyways, we're gonna be here all night. It's always fun to chat with everybody. Thank you everybody for logging in and hanging out with us and allowing us to talk Tenet with you.
Yeah. If you guys are Disney Plus subscribers in Canada, definitely type in Encino Man and see what comes up. I'm telling you. No, Lewis, it's not. It's not. It's California Man.
Maybe they changed it. I don't know. Well, that'll be
okay. Here's what's really weird. If you type it up, it says California Man. Can you see at the top there, John?
Yeah, I vaguely see something.
Okay. But then when you click on it, then it says Encino Man. So they're idiots. Okay. Anyways, I'm out. We'll figure something out. Watch our socials. We'll have an idea for you guys in the next couple of days so you can watch it. But it'll be a movie of I don't know. We'll pick something that John hasn't seen before. We'll do that.
We can do that, or we can rewatch something. I'm fine with that too. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff I haven't seen for some reason or another. But so thank you everybody again for giving us your Monday night. Please have a fantastic week.
Yeah, buddy.
We will see y'all later.
Go get your Spider-Man tomorrow. Podcast. Go get your Spider-Man No Way Home. We should do that for next week.
If you haven't seen it,
yeah.
Go see Spider-Man. All right.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Why
Mr. Rob.
why don't we do that?
What?
Spider-Man No Way Home.
You want
We've
to do
done our
Spider-Man No Way Home?
review. We've
Yeah,
done our
you
review,
guys-
but we haven't chatted with everybody about it.
Do you guys want to? Oh, I gotta go this way.
Yeah, Yes. All right. And with that,
How do you fall out the chair?
have a good night, everybody.
You were doing what?
Gay.
I can hear John's wife giving him shit. All right, everybody. Have a
You
good
fell
night.
out of the chair? What did you do?